and and I was bringing the sport to the people, and there was a time when all these sports were kind of new, these action sports, and the media was interested in that too, you put a cross-country guy in a TV studio, he cannot really show much, but you bring a trials guy and he jumps over your furniture and does stuff, and I had that kind of going for myself, and when we did my first video, that opened really my eyes, or some of these other PR stunts I done, like taking my trial skills and hopping over a taxi cab in New York City for a SWATCH ad. That really opened my eyes, oh my God, use my trial skills outside of a competition, and all of a sudden, it's something cool and different, and and from that day on, I started looking at the world with different eyes, because everything became a potential obstacle I could ride over or do a photo shoot with, and so it's a number of those kind of things that kind of just fell into place.
The SWATCH ad came up a minute ago. We went into MB, and I was like, guys, you're going to like this. We've got Hans Ray coming to the bike shop, and instantly Ben was like, we need to, I think it was Ben or maybe Tom, he's like, we need to print off the one of him hopping on the car, and it was the SWATCH ad. It was exactly that. What was that? Was that in New York, was it, or is it downtown LA? Yeah, I was pretty lucky when I came to America in '87. The guy who invited me, he was national trials champ, but trials is really a European sport, bicycle trials, and also motorcycle trials obviously started here in England, but BMX and mountain biking are obviously American sports. But in the early mountain bike races in America, they had always trials as one of the disciplines.
So it's 3 disciplines, right?
Yeah, literally they called it a stage race. So everybody in a mountain bike race had to do a cross country, a downhill, and the trials on the same bike, and all on 26-inch old school mountain bikes. But there was a small scene starting in America with 20-inch guys, and they would look over to the Europeans and come over and compete in the European Championships. And this guy, Kevin Norton, said, come to America. There's a new sport. It's called mountain biking, and show them what real trials is. So I figured, hey, I was just about to retire from bike riding and trials riding, and go to university.
No way.
And I took a vacation semester and went to America. I figured that would be a great way to end my career as a trials rider. I was like a top 10 rider in Europe for probably 10 years, and went to America, and it's just like the floodgates opened, and this Kevin Norton guy, he really introduced me to everything and everybody from, I was never a BMXer, but I always looked at the BMX magazines, and I couldn't believe all these guys, these riders sponsored, driving Porsches, 16-year-old kids, and I get to go over there, and literally in the first week, I was at the production for BMX Plus magazine, where they did a video production with everybody in it, all the riders you could think of were there at the shoot,
So it properly felt like Hollywood.
And it's like all this happened. Then he introduced me to the Laguna Rats, these original mountain bike club from California, one of the oldest clubs, and who I still ride with today. And then literally one morning, the phone rang, and the guy goes like, we were in LA, or near LA. And the guy was like, we need 2 trials riders in New York this afternoon. Tickets are at the airport. We drove straight to the airport, flew to New York, and the next day they said, we want you to jump over this taxi cab or so. And I did this. I didn't really, I rode over it too, but I did, the picture looks like I'm flying over it. But all I did was a bunny hop on the roof on one spot and landed on the same spot. But when I'm up there in the air, it looks like I'm flying over the car. So anyway, so that was a famous, it was part of a big ad campaign, print ads in those days. And that opened the door to SWATCH sponsorship. Then SWATCH at the time didn't do just watches. They did also clothing. And I said, hey, I can wear your clothing. And that was kind of also, nobody really wore street clothes back then. Even the BMXers still had BMX uniforms on, that it started to change right around then when Vision Streetwear came on and stuff. Yeah. But anyway, so that was a sponsorship for almost 20 years that, that started out with that photo shoot, really.
Wow.
So
who had the foresight to get the trials rider involved? Was it SWATCH or an agency?
Yeah, I think it was an agency and the photographer, and they called up a mountain bike magazine at the time called Mountain Biking, and they they called Kavanaugh, who was the trials guy in America. And you have to give Swatch credit. They paved the way for Red Bull. I mean,
really, yeah.
I mean, Red Bull came way later than Swatch. Swatch sponsored all these action sports, like from freestyle skiing to skateboarding, BMX, trials. And even I had a little connection with Swatch before I came to America, and that was kind of independently. But that call was different, from New York. But they sponsored the Bicycle Trials European Cup in '85 in Germany already. Like long before even, like mountain biking even started, and Red Bull probably came 15 years later, or at least like on the bigger scale. And at the beginning, I remember Red Bull tagged on to some Swatch events, as a co-sponsor, and they really literally said, we can only like copy what you can. But then now they took it on the whole next level, and Swatch eventually got out of extreme sport, at least temporary. But they really, like, when nobody wanted to have anything to do with action sports, they were there.
So did you just, what did it feel like? You felt like you just landed in the middle of something super exciting in mountain biking in LA? And
I don't know what hit me. I couldn't really, I didn't have expectations, and and I really landed at the right place. I mean, I wasn't in Laguna Beach where I live now, but right in the town next to it, and in Southern California, in the middle of all this. I mean, and I got to rub elbows with all these other scenes, the action sports, and they influenced me a lot. But like I said, I got to do shows with all these BMX freestylers, with skateboarders, like Rodney Mullen and like Rob Roscoe, Natas Kaupas. We would do shows together. They were also riding for Swatch,
right?
And I would then, like, the surf industry is there. Then I kind of got a little bit involved in the skiing world. Not that I was a skier, but I would be in a production with skiers, or I would work with a ski filmmaker, and it was just like, it was amazing, to see all these little worlds collide. And Southern California is really the place to be, and so there was definitely some opportunities.
Yeah. Do you have an agent back then who was figuring this out?
No, I was always trying to get one, and I couldn't find one really.
Okay.
And sometimes I worked with somebody shortly, and I learned to do it myself, and I figured at the end, eventually I figured I can, because either you had an agent who didn't understand the sport, or but had contacts, or vice versa, somebody, so I did a lot myself, and often I wish you don't have to blow your own trumpet, all the time, which you have to do kind of when you manage yourself, or at least you have to show people what you do and talk about it to a degree. But so for me, it was always agentless, even though sometimes I wish I had one. So
with amongst pro riders, your book is like famous. Okay. Hey man, what an episode that was. You did amazing in it.
And so did you.
You shone like a star.
You shone like a moon.
Can we also put something up here that you can click on for the next episode?
How about we put a subscribe up there in the middle?
Yeah,
we're going to put a video we think that our lovely companionship will love on your face.
On my face?
Yeah.
So
and
they
on
can't see me now?
Gone. And on my face, another video that we think people will love. And thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Please hit like and subscribe. You guys are the best.
Peace and love.